Good morning and welcome to the 2023 State of the Port Just. My name is Kenny Santos. I am the current president of the Jacksonville Propeller Club and executive vice president for KCM, an aqua golf company. On behalf of the club's board of governors, thank you for being here today. At this time, please rise for the presentation of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance. Today's colors will be presented by the U.S. Marine Corps 4th Assault Amphibian Battalion, INI staff. Following the pledge by Alexandria Kotz, student president for the UNAF, please still remain standing for the invocation by past president and board member Linda Carrion.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rugged red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I can have everyone please bow their heads. Lord, thank you for gathering us here together. We pray that your spirit is known in this space as we celebrate the past, present, and future of the port. May you bless each one of us, clear the path to where you're leading us through, and guide us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Ready for the retirement of the colors. Thank you. Please be seated. City Council. I'm gonna try. All right. So it is a privilege to be standing here at this podium today. The Propeller Club, chartered in the 30s, is one of the longest running and active clubs in the nation. Great and incredible leaders of the Propeller Club have had the opportunity to promote, support, and advocate all aspects of the maritime industry. Today is very important to me. Being Puerto Rican, JAXPORT and State of the Port connects many of my puzzles together. The industry that I enjoy with passion, fellow colleagues and friends of the industry, my Aquagolf family, one of the largest shippers to the Puerto Rico market. And being Puerto Rican, being the first Puerto Rican to actually serve in the Propeller Club as a president. Year over year, you grow this event and the amount of people and companies we reach. This year, JAXPORT and the Propeller Club joined together to focus and prepare the industry for what's next. Next for Jacksonville, next for the future, next for you and me, next for the entire world to see. We have a number of special guests that with us today that we would like to introduce, elected officials. Council President Terrence Freeman, City Council Liaison Ron Salem, Council Member Brenda Priestley Jackson, Council Member Danny Beckton, Council Member Nick Holland, Council Member Liana Cumber. Thanks for joining us today. Also with us, United States Coast Guard Sector Jacksonville, Commander Captain Janet Espino Young. United States Custom and Border Protection Area Director, Jennifer Bradshaw. Thank you for being with us. The Jacksonville Propeller Club mission is to promote and support all aspects of the maritime industry, which we know also it's supported by landside logistics companies, all you hear today. We do this in 3 ways: creating opportunities for connection, advocating for our members and the interests of our industry, and by servicing the community that we live and work. Our club is powered by members, and we have a diverse membership representing all the pieces of the supply chain, and for that, we are incredibly grateful. At this time, I would like to take the opportunity to thank all the Jacksonville Propeller Club corporate members who make events like this possible with their generous support throughout the year. Please hold all your applauses to the end. On the platinum level, JAXPORT, Jacksonville Port Authority, Aquagolf, McAllister Towing of Jacksonville, W&O Supply, Tote Maritime Puerto Rico, Ring Power Lift Trucks, CNC Transfer, Crowley, CBX Global. On the gold level, Jax LNG, Atlantic Logistics. On the silver level, Fincantieri Marine Repair, Mosley, Pritchard, Parrish, Knight and Jones, Stitches and Screen, Moran Towing, Series, GL Power, Schuyler Lines Navigation Company, Randstad. On the bronze level, Atlantic Marine, Coppage Marine and Industrial, McLeod Brock PLLC, Apollo Packaging, Florida Detroit Diesel Allison, and let's give a big round of applause for all of them. Thank you for all your support of the club's work throughout the year. In addition, we have a number of businesses who supported the production of today's in-person and virtual event. I'd like to take a moment and please hold your applauses to the end. Let's recognize our presenting sponsors, Marine Repair Services, CMC, ILA South Atlantic and Gulf Coast. Our bridge sponsors are Jacksport, Aquagolf, Trailer Bridge, Allied Universal, the Evans Group, Miller Electric Company, CBX Global, Avery. At the deck level, sponsors include Crowley, Randstad, SSA Atlantic. At the anchor level, sponsorships include Atlantic Logistics, Carry On Transport Solutions, Taylor Engineering Inc., and Pro Elite Family Logistics. Finally, our program is sponsored by ARCO, Courtyard Marriott, Terracon, High Power, W&O Supply, and Axiom Staffing Group. Please join me in a round of applause for all these generous sponsors. Proceeds of today's event will support the club's charitable event initiatives. More come today, later on the program. We'll hear from Jacksport CEO and the panelists shortly. But in the meantime, please enjoy your lunch and a few messages from our event sponsors.
The story of Miller Electric goes back to 1928, when Henry Miller moved here from Chicago and bought a small electrical contracting firm, happened to be named Miller Electric, and started the company we know today as Miller Electric Company. From there, the company has evolved significantly. Well over 2,000 employees spread out across the country, and now serving clients not just in their electrical systems, but all the technology systems that there's no way that he could have even imagined would exist. And thinking about where we're going in the future, I think the possibilities of what our company will become in the future are endless.
One thing that makes us unique as a company is kind of the longevity of our employees. So there's a lot that goes into why we have people here for as long as we do. I mean, there's people that start here right out of high school that they may retire here. I mean, there's been plenty of people that's happened to, and I couldn't even count them all. The fact that somebody comes to work for us and next thing you know, we're getting an application, review a new hire for their brother or their cousin. People get here and they realize how great it is, and they want to share that with the people they know.
When our employees go home at the end of the day, their impact never stops. And in some cases, it's just beginning. It could be the lights coming on the Acosta Bridge downtown. It could be someone going to a football game and they never know that Miller Electric powered that scoreboard. Or the family that's at the hospital and knowing that the equipment works because of the work that we do. It's really impactful work that touches so many parts of our lives. Just because we're an electrical contractor for over 90 years doesn't mean that we stop now. We can continue to grow, we can continue to evolve, and we're going to meet the needs of whatever our clients need into the future.
global economy creates a world of opportunities for your business, but only if you're partnered with a company that can deliver. Avort's end-to-end network of international services makes importing and exporting more seamless than ever. From Charlotte to Shanghai and everywhere in between, our integrated global solutions ensure your supply chain never misses a beat. And that dedication to your business continues once your goods reach port. Backed by our 50-plus years of transportation expertise, Avort's portside solutions provide everything you need to efficiently move, manage, store, and distribute your international shipments anywhere throughout North America. With over 1,000 chassis, our asset-based drayage services provide port-to-door delivery for up to 250 miles. For needs further inland, we can customize money-saving solutions via rail, LTL, truckload, or blended transportation, all through our extensive North American distribution network, and all with 24/7 shipment monitoring and customer support. At our safe and secure transload and cross-dock facilities, our team can prepare your shipments for final delivery, performing a wide array of value-added services like assembling, kitting, labeling, palletization, and more. We also make distribution and fulfillment as turnkey as possible, with access to a network of secure distribution centers throughout the US, Canada, and Mexico. No matter your inbound or outbound international shipping needs, Avort has one-call integrated solutions for port, dock, land, or rail that tie it all together and put the world at your fingertips. One partner, endless possibilities. That's the power of one.
From a one-truck and one-van operation to a multinational, multi-million-dollar corporation, CBX Global started in 1982 with 16 logistics companies across the eastern USA, Dominican Republic, USVI, and Puerto Rico. The energy of expansion kept flowing, and additional ground was covered, expanding to Central America and China. To provide the best possible service to our customers, a family environment within our employees, and a steady growth within the company, CBX Global holds many memories and future opportunities like no other. Today, 40 years later, we celebrate the hard work, commitment, and dedication of all our employees, customers, and vendors. Thank you all for being part of our great adventure and for supporting our business. We feel proud to have you as part of our amazing family, always keeping in mind, there are no limits.
The story of Miller Electric goes back to 1928 when Henry Miller moved here from Chicago and bought a small electrical contracting firm, happened to be named Miller Electric, and started the company we know today as Miller Electric Company. From there, the company has evolved significantly. Well over 2,000 employees spread out across the country, and now serving clients not just in their electrical systems, but all the technology systems that there's no way that he could have even imagined would exist. And thinking about where we're going in the future, I think the possibilities of what our company will become in the future are endless.
One thing that makes us unique as a company is kind of the longevity of our employees. There's a lot that goes into why we have people here for as long as we do. I mean, there's people that start here right out of high school that they may retire here. And there's been plenty of people that's happened, and I couldn't even count them all. The fact that somebody comes to work for us, and next thing you know, we're getting an application to view a new hire for their brother or their cousin. People get here and they realize how great it is, and they want to share that with the people they know.
When our employees go home at the end of the day, their impact never stops. And in some cases, it's just beginning. It could be the lights coming on the Acosta Bridge downtown. It could be someone going to a football game and they never know that Miller Electric powered that scoreboard. Or the family that's at the hospital and knowing that the equipment works because of the work that we do. It's really impactful work that touches so many parts of our lives. Just because we're an electrical contractor for over 90 years doesn't mean that we stop now. We can continue to grow, we can continue to evolve, and we're going to meet the needs of whatever our clients need into the future.
The global economy creates a world of opportunities for your business, but only if you're partnered with a company that can deliver. Avort's end-to-end network of international services makes importing and exporting more seamless than ever. From Charlotte to Shanghai and everywhere in between, our integrated global solutions ensure your supply chain never misses a beat. And that dedication to your business continues once your goods reach port. Backed by our 50-plus years of transportation expertise, Avort's portside solutions provide everything you need to efficiently move, manage, store, and distribute your international shipments anywhere throughout North America. With over 1,000 chassis, our asset-based drayage services provide port-to-door delivery for up to 250 miles. For needs further inland, we can customize money-saving solutions via rail, LTL, truckload, or blended transportation, all through our extensive North American distribution network, and all with 24/7 shipment monitoring and customer support. At our safe and secure transload and cross-dock facilities, our team can prepare your shipments for final delivery, performing a wide array of value-added services like assembling, kitting, labeling, palletization, and more. We also make distribution and fulfillment as turnkey as possible, with access to a network of secure distribution centers throughout the US, Canada, and Mexico. No matter your inbound or outbound international shipping needs, Avort has one-call integrated solutions for port, dock, land, or rail that tie it all together and put the world at your fingertips. One partner, endless possibilities. That's the power of one.
From a one-truck and one-van operation to a multinational, multi-million-dollar corporation, CBX Global started in 1982 with 16 logistics companies across the eastern USA, Dominican Republic, USVI, and Puerto Rico. The energy of expansion kept flowing, and additional ground was covered, expanding to Central America and China. To provide the best possible service to our customers, a family environment within our employees, and a steady growth within the company, CBX Global holds many memories and future opportunities like no other. Today, 40 years later, we celebrate the hard work, commitment, and dedication of all our employees, customers, and vendors. Thank you all for being part of our great adventure and for supporting our business. We feel proud to have you as part of our amazing family, always keeping in mind, there are no limits.
The story of Miller Electric goes back to 1928 when Henry Miller moved here from Chicago and bought a small electrical contracting firm, happened to be named Miller Electric, and started the company we know today as Miller Electric Company. From there, the company has evolved significantly. Well over 2,000 employees spread out across the country, and now serving clients not just in their electrical systems, but all the technology systems that there's no way that he could have even imagined would exist. And thinking about where we're going in the future, I think the possibilities of what our company will become in the future are endless.
One thing that makes us unique as a company is kind of the longevity of our employees. There's a lot that goes into why we have people here for as long as we do. I mean, there's people that start here right out of high school that they may retire here. And there's been plenty of people that's happened to, and I couldn't even count them all. The fact that somebody comes to work for us, and next thing you know, we're getting an application to do a new hire for their brother or their cousin. People get here and they realize how great it is, and they want to share that with the people they know.
When our employees go home at the end of the day, their impact never stops. And in some cases, it's just beginning. It could be the lights coming on the Acosta Bridge downtown. It could be someone going to a football game and they never know that Miller Electric powered that scoreboard. Or the family that's at the hospital and knowing that the equipment works because of the work that we do. It's really impactful work that touches so many parts of our lives. Just because we're an electrical contractor for over 90 years doesn't mean that we stop now. We can continue to grow, we can continue to evolve, and we're going to meet the needs of whatever our clients need into the future.
May I have your attention, please? You're enjoying your lunch. We're going to continue our program, and at this time, we're going to continue. And it's a pleasure for me to introduce JAXPORT Board of Directors Vice Chair Daniel Bean. Daniel Bean is an attorney and partner at Abel Bean Law, PA, ranked one of the nation's top law firms by U.S. News and World Report. He previously served as an executive partner of the Jacksonville office of Holland and Knight. A retired U.S. Navy captain, Legion of Merit recipient, Bean has served as a surface warfare officer and judge advocate for 25 years. He's a graduate of Vanderbilt University and received his jury doctorate from the University of San Diego School of Law. Bean currently serves as the board chairman of K9 for Warriors, treasurer for Five Star Veterans Center, and a former board chairman of WJCT, the public broadcasting station of Jacksonville. Bean was appointed to Jacksport Board of Directors in 2019 for a 4-year term. Please welcome Daniel Bean.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Jacksport, I want to thank the Propeller Club, Port of Jacksonville, for hosting this great event. I love coming to this event, and thank you so much for all you guys do for our industry. I also want to thank all the city council members that are here right in front of you, particularly Councilman Salem. He attends all of our board meetings. He's our city council liaison, and really we do appreciate all the support that you provide us. The city council support in the past, in the present, and in the future is incredibly vital to the success of Jacksport. And thank you all for that partnership. And if you haven't heard, there are a couple of elections going on, and early voting is open, so please exercise your right and your duty as a citizen of Duval County and Jacksonville, and please vote. In 2020, just after I had been appointed to the Jacksport board by Governor DeSantis, Jacksport created a new 5-year strategic master plan. It is the port's roadmap to success. Now that we have reached the halfway point in that plan, significant progress has been made in key areas, including new business across all key cargo types, completion of major growth projects, you might have heard about those, and then investments that are making cargo operations cleaner and greener for our community. Now, having been on the board for the last few years, I have seen the evolution of a port on the rise, and it has been a true honor to have a front row seat to that success. And what it has done, it has positioned our region and our state for long-term success. Now, later in this program, WJXT anchor Joy Purdy will moderate a panel discussion featuring industry experts who will explore what's next for our region's transportation and logistics community following the completion of recent growth projects. But first, from new ocean carrier services to a series of multi-million-dollar public-private partnerships, Jacksonville is well-positioned for success in the future. It is my pleasure today to get to introduce you to the man behind so much of that success. Jacksonville native Eric Green joined Jacksport in 2005, and he was elevated to the Chief Executive Officer in 2017. Now, under his leadership since that time, the port has attracted more than $1 billion, that's with a B, $1 billion in investments over the last 5 years. That is an incredible accomplishment. Congratulations, Eric. And also on his resume, he has led the successful effort to gain authorization and funding for the Jacksonville Harbor Deepening Program, which was completed last year, as you all know. He designed an innovative funding model for the deepening, resulting in $420 million from the state, the federal, local, and private sector investment, and an amazing ability to navigate all of those different entities in order to do that. Now, in addition, Eric has spearheaded multiple public-private partnerships to upgrade the terminal infrastructure and build the port of the future. And Jacksport really is ready for the future, and it's ready to take on additional revenue and cargo, vendors, and things of that nature, thanks to Eric and his team. Together, those investments ensure that the port maintains the capabilities and the efficiencies that help your business and my business grow in Jacksonville. Now, Eric's going to join me in a minute up here, but first, please turn your attention to a very short video.
Safe to say, Jacksport is officially on the map.
Jacksport has the capacity to meet the berth availability and strong labor force that a shipping company requires to keep their business moving.
It really gives me goosebumps now. I get the goosebumps just to see the bigger ships come in.
This investment communicates to the world that JAXPORT and Florida are open for business.
JAXPORT has attracted more than $1 billion in investment over the last 5 years. This has allowed for economic activity all over the city.
Really, the last few years have been monumental. You know, what CEO Green and his staff has done here to add new routes, new lines, new carriers, and the portfolio, growing that portfolio of cargo has been nothing short of incredible.
One of the leading drivers for companies looking at Jacksonville happens to be JAXPORT, and they play a complete role in our efforts to recruit companies to the Jacksonville region.
JAXPORT has been an incredible partner to ensure that we're making continuous runs and we're not impeding traffic and flow of commerce to the island. Jacksonville is also supplying LNG to the island as a mean of power, so that in itself is making them more resilient, so it's a critical node.
As everyone sleeps at nighttime, there will be ships working, and we're keeping the shelves stocked.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming JAXPORT CEO and my friend, Eric Green.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
This last year was a big one, and we're building on our momentum. Thank you, Vice Chair Bean, for that introduction. Thank you, Council President Freeman. He had to leave, but thank you. Thank you, Vice President Salem, our port liaison, Councilmember Borland, Councilmember Becton, Councilmember Cumber, Councilwoman Brenda Priestley Jackson, and Councilman Nick Howland, for all the support that you've given us throughout the years. Before we get started, it's important to recognize that not a single piece of cargo can move through our port without the hardworking men and women of our labor unions, the U.S. Coast Guard and U.S. Customs and Border Protection, as well as our bar pilots and docking masters. You are a major part of our ability to keep cargo moving, and we are grateful for your dedication and partnership. I also want to welcome the JAXPORT tenants, customers, service providers, and guests here. State of the Port is always a special time of year because it gives us the opportunity to have so many of the people who are vital to our success in one room. Today, we're going to talk about 3 key themes: the importance of our diversification of business, both trade lanes and cargo types, strategies for continued growth while maintaining our efficiencies, and why Jacksonville's transportation community is well positioned for the future. It's hard to imagine a bigger year than the one we just had. 2022 was transformational, as we've continued to modernize our facilities through multi-year construction projects that position our terminals, business, and region for long-term success. I'll get to those highlights in a moment. But first, here's a quick snapshot of where we are today. JAXPORT is the largest container port in the state of Florida. JAXPORT is the largest container port in the state of Florida. JAXPORT is the largest container port in the state of Florida. Last year, we moved nearly 1.3 million containers, maintaining our position as one of the nation's top 10 container ports. Our strategic location continues to attract investments Container volumes are up 25% since 2017. We are the #1 U.S. port for trade with Puerto Rico, moving about 90% of the goods that flow between the island and the U.S. mainland. Puerto Rico is our longest running and most significant trading partner, and we are proud to serve the people there. We're one of the nation's top vehicle handling ports, and you're here, we are building out our auto capabilities to accommodate continued growth in this trade lane. And finally, JAXPORT is a global leader in breakbulk cargo, such as paper products. Taking a look at our successes from the last year. Amid global supply chain disruption, our container berths have remained congestion-free, thanks in large part to the skill and efficiency of our port workers and terminal operators. One of the biggest moments in port history took place in May, when we completed harbor deepening through Blount Island, ahead of schedule and under budget. A 47-foot channel allows us to attract new business and protect existing business as the industry continues to upsize to bigger ships. In coordination with the deepening project, we completed $100 million in berth rehabilitation, providing the capability to accommodate 2 post-Panamax ships at the same time. To maximize the economic impact created by a deeper harbor, we secured full funding to raise the power lines over the St. Johns River. I want to thank our city council members, the state of Florida for supporting funding for this project, and JEA for their partnership. Upon completion in 2025, Blount Island will have an air draft clearance of 205 feet, up from 175 feet. This is the final step in making JAXPORT truly competitive with other ports on the U.S. East Coast. Deepening the harbor and increasing our air draft creates or protects 15,000 jobs supported by Asian trade in Jacksonville. Together, these projects position us for growth for decades to come. We've added 4 new container services over the last 18 months, including our first direct service with Europe and expanding our connections with Asia. Ocean Carrier Sea Lead Shipping cited harbor deepening and our lack of congestion as their primary reason for choosing Jacksonville. These new services are a significant achievement and a key strategy of our 5-year strategic master plan to grow container services, particularly in the Trans-Pacific and transatlantic trades. Excellent customer service is a point of pride for us. Last year, Logistic Management Magazine readers voted us the top port in the nation for value and the top port on the East Coast for customer satisfaction. And thank you, partners, for helping us to achieve that. And last but certainly not least, we secured 4 multi-million-dollar public-private partnerships in 2022, leveraging our outside investment to build a more efficient, modern, and environmentally sustainable port of the future. Now I want to talk more about these public-private partnerships. They are significant because private investment in our public seaport facilities allows us to expand our capabilities more than we could do on our own. They also provide a blueprint for strategic growth to ensure we maintain congestion-free operations for all of our customers. First, we reached a 20-year agreement with Ceres Terminals to lease our Dames Point facility. Under the agreement, Ceres will make significant terminal upgrades, including investments in cargo handling, equipment, and systems. Also in 2022, we reached a long-term agreement with one of our longest-standing tenants, Southeast Toyota, the country's largest distributor of Toyota vehicles. Southeast Toyota is relocating to Blount Island for additional space on 88 acres. Their Jacksonville operations support more than 800 quality jobs. This agreement was key to keeping these volumes and jobs in Jacksonville. We strengthened our commitment to Puerto Rico through a new long-term agreement with Trailer Bridge. The terminal operator will remain at Blount Island through at least 2041, mirroring their lease with our partners at the Puerto Rico Ports Authority. This agreement and our close relationship with all three of our ocean carriers serving the island ensure we can continue to provide supply chain security for the people of Puerto Rico for generations to come. And finally, we took another major step forward in building an eco-friendly port of the future with the launch of our sustainability initiative, JAXPORT Express. The project will result in $47 million in sustainability investments funded by a federal grant and a public-private partnership with two of our tenants, SSA and Crowley. Through JAXPORT Express, we'll develop a long-term plan to transition to lower emissions operations. The plan will serve a model that other ports can replicate, furthering our ability to help make the supply chain cleaner and greener for future generations. Now look into the future. We're all here to talk about what's next, right? Our team likes to say that I don't sit still. Let's take a look at what's on the horizon. Maintaining our efficiencies as we grow is a top priority. To accomplish this, we have a long-term plan for strategic growth across all three of our major cargo types: containers, autos, and breakbulk. Starting with containers, major improvements are underway at all three of our marine terminals to increase capacity. With the improvements that are currently underway, JAXPORT total TEU throughput will double over time. The most significant expansion currently underway is at the SSA Jacksonville Container Terminal at Blount Island, another major public-private partnership we secured back in 2019. SSA is investing $100 million to modernize Blount Island. We started the project in 2019. It will be finished in 2024. The facility will be able to accommodate up to 500,000 containers annually, 2.5 times its current throughput. The expansion also includes upgrades to the facility's entry gates and technology upgrades to maintain terminal fluidity as volumes grow. This project is funded through a mix of private and federal dollars and maximizes the return on investment of the deepening project. Now to Ceres, our largest single tenant operated facility by acreage. They are also preparing for the future by investing $42 million in terminal improvements, including millions of dollars in new container handling equipment and technology upgrades to their terminal operating system, gate operating system, and container tracking systems. They plan to welcome 2 new Super Post Panamax 100 gauge cranes in 2024. These investments provide capacity and prepare us for growth as we look to the future. To help maintain congestion-free berths for all customers, we're expanding 2 of our auto berths at Blount Island. In partnership with the Florida Department of Transportation, $45 million in upgrades will soon be underway. We are expanding Auto Berth 20 to accommodate 2 larger vehicle ships simultaneously instead of 1. That project will be complete in 2025. We're also upgrading Berth 22 to more efficiently accommodate the larger vehicle ships calling the terminal. The project design is finished and construction will be complete in about 18 months. In addition, Southeast Toyota is in the design phase of the project to develop its new facility at Blunt Island. The company is building a new state-of-the-art processing building. They currently move over 150,000 vehicles annually. When the expansion is complete, we expect these volumes to grow due to the increased efficiencies. As we look to add capacity, we will have 3 parcels of port-owned property that will create opportunity for us in the future. First, Southeast Toyota relocation from Talleyrand to Blunt Island opens up the space they are vacating at Talleyrand. We're in the process of backfilling this 75-acre property, which is on berth and rail served. We're also evaluating the highest and best use of 2 other port-owned properties. 28 acres directly across the street from our Talleyrand terminal, and 40 acres at our Dames Point terminal. Together, these 3 facilities provide additional capacity to grow the port across our cargo types. One of our keys to success has always been our diversification. We will lean into that in the future. In addition to being diverse across cargo types, we're also diverse in our trade lanes. Most notably, our commitment to our largest single trading partner, Puerto Rico. Our 3 ocean carriers serving the island, Tope Maritime, Puerto Rico, Crowley, and Trailer Bridge, all do a tremendous job keeping cargo moving for the people of Puerto Rico. In 2021, JAXPORT signed a memorandum of understanding with the Puerto Rico Ports Authority that outlined 3 key strategies: collaborating on business development, supporting each other's growth opportunities, and maintaining business continuity no matter what challenges may arise. Breakbulk is another important part of our diversification. Last year, more than 1 million tons of forest products moved through Jacksonville. We handled more breakbulk forest products imports than any other port in the U.S. Southeast. As demand for breakbulk items such as tissues and paper towels continues to grow, we are in discussion with tenants now to add additional covered space to meet customer demand. We recently completed $4 million in upgrades to one of our warehouses at our Talleyrand Marine Terminal. Cruise has been a part of our portfolio for decades. Passengers prefer Jacksonville because we're a convenient drive-to cruise market. Carnival Elation has been sailing at more than 100% since the pandemic. We don't see that demand slowing down, and neither does Carnival. They recently extended their contract here through at least 2025. One of our most important roles is serving our military as one of the nation's 17 strategic seaports. Each year, we move thousands of units of military equipment. We are growing our relationship with our military partners, keeping cargo moving in support of national security and foreign humanitarian aid. When we think about the future, the rapid growth of industrial warehousing across Northeast Florida provides a blueprint for cargo volume. Northeast Florida has 152 million square feet of industrial space. Another 7 million square feet is currently under construction. We've added new distribution centers such as 1A Auto, CarParts.com, as well as electric vehicle manufacturer Centro, and personal care products maker Nateen. We've seen expansive growth of refrigerated cargo space, including the addition of cold storage facilities from FlexCold and Axion Log, helping us meet growing consumer demand for fresh and frozen food. JAXPORT has secured more than $1 billion in investment over the last 5 years. That's through federal and state funding, as well as public-private partnership. To recap, the investments and partnerships we've talked about allow us to build on our diversity, maintain our efficiencies as we grow and position Jacksonville and Florida for long-term success. In closing, I was recently asked my thoughts on what the pandemic changed about our industry. The answer, as you all know, is that it changed almost everything. The tougher question to answer is, what hasn't changed? What hasn't changed is the fundamentals of what we do. Goods need to be manufactured, transported through the supply chain, and distributed to businesses and consumers. Efficient ports like JAXPORT are key to that success. Thank you for continuing to provide economic opportunity and supply chain security for our community. Now I hand the program over to News for Jax anchor Joy Purdy, moderator of What's Next.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I thank you for the honor. And we're just going to jump right into it. We have a lot to cover, a lot to cover. Jacksonville's port community has really taken on new significance following the global supply chain disruptions that made headlines over the last few years. We talked about the pandemic you heard just recently. We've got an expert panel here to talk about what's next for the region's transportation and logistics community. After completing the majority of the growth projects and transformational public-private partnerships that we just heard about, a lot is on the horizon here in Jacksonville. And when you couple that with the growth and expansion that you see in the city, it is really an exciting time to be here in this city. Very exciting. So, from the expansive growth of commercial real estate to the evolution of our landside and waterside logistics networks, these panelists are going to be talking about the challenges, the opportunities that are shaping today's supply chain. So for the introductions, we have with us first Robert Peak. He is JAXPORT's Chief Commercial Officer. He's worked with JAXPORT since 1995, promoted to his current role just last year. He leads the port's marketing department, including all market research, leads the port's sales department, overseeing initiatives to identify and secure new cargo business at JAXPORT. He also works closely with area economic development agencies to really attract new logistics and manufacturing industries here to Northeast Florida. Next, we have Jennifer Edwards. She is the Senior Director of Sales and Agent Relations at the Evans Network of Companies. Very interesting. I was looking at your company online and I learned a new term. Your company, described as the largest intermodal drayage provider in the U.S., drayage. Correct, yeah. I learned this has nothing to do with the deepening of the river. Does not. Drayage.
Coincidental, right?
Total different, okay. Captain Barry Snyder, president of the St. John's Bar Pilots Association. And as we all know, in accordance with their mission, our lives, our safety, the protection of our ports and coastal environment, they would all be at risk were it not for Captain Snyder and his team and teams like his all throughout Florida. And finally, we have John Richardson. He is the president and principal of Newmark Phoenix Realty Group. It's a full-service commercial real estate company that serves Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, and it's really touted as the world's leading commercial real estate advisory firms, one of the world's leading. So thank you all for being here today. We appreciate that. We are here to talk about what is next for Jacksonville. So Robert, let's start with you. Sure. Eric Green, he mentioned JAXPORT, well-diversified port. You know, you oversee marketing and sales. So why is this so important as we're looking toward the future?
Yeah, so when Eric speaks about business diversity, when we speak about business diversity, we're really talking about two different areas. And Eric did a nice job really in the slides of kind of covering the first area, and that's really the cargo types that we handle. So if you didn't hear it, we're the largest container port in the state of Florida. Okay, so okay. And we're the 10th largest container port in the U.S. And we're one of the top vehicle handling ports in the United States, thanks to our great vehicle processors here. And as Eric mentioned, we probably do 1 million tons of break bulk cargo through our facilities a year. We also handle liquid bulk, dry bulk, handle military cargoes. We have a cruise operation with Carnival Cruise Lines. We handle military cargoes as well. So, and we have an intermodal rail facility. So a lot of different business lines, if you will. So in terms of diversification of cargo types, and then the other diversification is the trade lanes in which our vessel service partners operate. So we have vessel service globally all over the world. If you combine all the services from all those different kinds of cargo, we have regular vessel service from all the way through North America, South America, Central America, throughout the Caribbean islands, to west coast of Africa, through North Africa, to Northern Europe, a brand new service we have, to Southeast Asia and North Asia. So that's important. All that's important for two reasons. So one is, and it's all by design, we've intentionally wanted to bake into our strategic plan this diversification across trade lanes and cargo types for two reasons. One is we've wanted to protect ourselves against downturns in an economy in any one particular cargo type or trade lane. And we've been able to do that because the same reason you might diversify an investment portfolio. And the other reason is that we want to avail ourselves to as many business opportunities as we possibly can. So because we're able to operate in the container space and break bulk and roll on, roll off and other commodities, we can go after all manner of different businesses, and we can do that globally. So it's both a protection in terms of hedging against a downturn in any particular market or trade lane, and it's also the opportunity for us to go get new business in multiple ways.
And it sounds like a lot of juggling going on there. I'll tell you, talking to him, you might not be able to see it right this moment, but his energy level and enthusiasm for what's going on with the port and the fact that all of this is going on at the same time, it's just really great to see at the top because you know that filters down. If there's excitement up there, it's only going to be spread around. So it's really great to see.
It's a lot of fun.
Right, that's good. Fun is good. So John, Northeast Florida, millions of square feet, new warehouse, distribution center space built in the last couple of years. More is coming, as we heard. What is driving all of this new industrial space that's being built here in Northeast Florida? As the expert in commercial real estate, why is this space in such demand?
I think what typically drives industrial real estate anywhere in the country is population. I think I was reading the other day where Florida now has over 22 million residents, increasing every day. Also read, I was telling Robert that I read that but Florida in general now has more jobs than the state of New York for the first time. So we've taken them over as far as a state with a number of jobs. The drivers for our area are affordable land, labor, multimodal logistics options, obviously JAXPort. We're seeing land cost in South Florida, Central Florida for industrial development, you know, South Florida not counting, they're millions of dollars an acre. Here, you can still find reasonably priced industrial land, which seems high to people that have been in this business and been here for a long time, but in that, you know, $150,000 to $200,000 an acre range, and that's appealing to the developers that have been used to paying $800,000, $900,000 an acre in other parts of our market. Quality of life, second to none, obviously. Raised here, like a lot of us probably were. Great place to live and raise a family. But then JAXPort, bringing in companies like Mr. Green mentioned, Centro, Natine, Samsonite, expanding Southeast Toyota. All of these things have been great drivers and help bolster our industrial market.
All right, Jennifer, new distribution space creates demand for trucking, your company's expertise. We've heard about a trucker shortage across the country. So how is North Florida, the entire state of Florida, faring with that?
Sure, so trucker shortage, it's another word that we all kind of became familiar with during COVID, right? It's important that we, as an industry, as well as a company at Evans Network, continue to invest in recruiting. We have to find a way to retain our driver capacity, as well as continue to bring on new drivers to support the economy and keep everything moving. The image of a truck driver, I feel like, is sometimes a little misrepresented. So when Eisenhower created the interstate system, at that point, trucking became a huge indicator of what the economy looks like. It became a key part of the economy at that point. However, a lot of people who are not in our industry don't recognize how difficult of a job it is, and there's maybe not as much respect given to the position as there should be. However, those of us who are in the industry do realize it, and we do appreciate it. We see what these drivers do. We see how they're the backbone of the economy, that they keep product moving. So it's really just, as an industry, how can we continue to bring new interest to the role? How can we make sure that we continue to reward the drivers that we have? How can we give them the due respect that they need, and just continue to highlight that it's a very important role that we would suffer greatly without.
All right, Captain Snyder, let's hear from you. With harbor deepening will come bigger ships. We heard Eric Green mention the post-Panamax ships, for example. Describe the changes that you've seen in vessel sizes using Jacksonville's port.
When I started piloting in Jacksonville about 23 years ago, the maximum depth of the river was 38 feet. We saw frequently vessels at that maximum draft. The longest ships that we were handling at that time generally were just over 800 feet. We would get the occasional SL7 that was in Blunt Island, and they were 946 feet. They're Panamax vessels, so they had a beam or width of 106 feet. Usually their draft was about 33 to 36 feet when we would handle those. As the post-Panamax era settled in after 1990, then the ships started to get not only longer, but they would get wider and then deeper. And then we saw these larger, deeper draft vessels calling or wanting to call Jacksonville much more frequently. So not a moment too soon that the Port of Jacksonville completed their next dredging project during my career, which was to 40 feet. And that was done up in 2010. So almost immediately we started handling ships to the maximum draft that we could get. So, but then in 2016, the Panama Canal opened up as the Neo-Panamax locks, which really opened the door for a lot of larger ships to come in. Those ships were up to 1,200 feet long, 168 feet long, and a 50-foot draft. So significantly larger than what we had been handling, but we weren't quite ready for those. So, but at that time, it was soon thereafter, though, that we did get our first long ship over 1,000 feet. And it was in 2016, we had one at 1,000 feet and one at 1,100 feet. And that year, in 2016, we actually got 20 movements that year. So it was a significant sudden change that we got. And then since 2018, we've averaged about 85 movements of ships that are over 1,000 feet long. And a lot of them with a beam or width of over 150 feet long. Now keep in mind, the Panamax ships that we were just talking about with the SL7s were 106 feet long. So this is like a 1.5 times the width. So as Joy had pointed out, this half football field wide, so that's a pretty big ship that we're dealing with. And to keep up with our primary regional competitors, Savannah and Charleston, who are already, who are already dealing with or meeting the demands of a 47 to a 50-foot channel, we completed our latest project, as we know, just last year. So that kind of really brought us into the competition with them. So, and then just a few months after the completion of this, in the summer of just last year, we had our first container ship that had a draft of over 40 feet. And we've only had a handful of those since then, but the deepest one we've had to date was just a couple of days ago at 44 feet in draft. So that's a significant change. As things are rolling along, we expect that to happen more and more, and we're certainly excited for it.
Modernizing cargo terminals. So great progress recently. We're going to talk with Robert about this. The completion of harbor deepening, Blunt Island, berth improvements, larger warehouse distribution center. How will JAXPort leverage these capabilities to grow business even more?
So when we speak with our current customers about trying to bring more business into their facility, or when we go out and find new customers, so shipping lines that might bring us new vessels, or shippers that might want to import or export through the port, the first set of questions they ask us are basically, can you do this? Do you have the capability to do this? And they want to know, do you have a deep enough shipping channel? Do you have a big enough cranes? If it's break bulk warehousing, do you have enough space? So do you have the capability of doing this? And that's question one. So before they ask about cost, or before they want to know about all the logistics advantages that are in Northeast Florida, and we have a lot, they want to know, can you do it? So all the capital improvement projects that Eric Green was talking about, all those improvements that JAXPORT and our terminal operating partners and Southeast Toyota and other partners are doing, they are to be able to affirmatively answer that question first. Because if you can get there and say, yes, we can handle it, okay, now you're in. Now we have a lot to sell in Northeast Florida. If you don't have that capability, you're not off square one. So we've with all this investment, this is a great port to sell, because now you say, well, we have this capability. So the harbor deepening has just been critically important for us, certainly, and these other investments are as well. So now you look at the state of Florida. It's the third most populous state in the United States. And it's sitting in a consumer basket of 98 million people that can be reached within a one-day truck drive. Excuse me. It's a huge consumer base that's drawing a lot of companies here. And we have a great transportation network. If you look at our cargo terminals, you look at Blunt Island, Danes Point, they're bisected by an interstate 295. They're right there. You're not traveling miles to get to an interstate. They're connected by a state highway. Our intermodal rail yard is right there between those two facilities. And 295 takes you right to Interstate 95 and then around Interstate 10. And our Talleyrand terminal, if you look at the U.S. interstate system, the north-south artery and the east-west one in the south, which is I-10 and I-95, they intersect just outside of our Talleyrand ring terminal. So you have this fantastic highway network. And we have our railroad providers, CSX, Fort East Coast, Norfolk Southern Railway, all service Jacksonville, as does Watco, which is our short line terminal operator at Talleyrand, and Ceres operates our intermodal rail yard provided service by CSX. So you start layering all this together, and you have this tremendous consumer population, massive population base in Florida, where a lot of companies want to be, with modern container, break bulk, and roll-on, roll-off handling capabilities, great labor, very stable labor, which is hugely important here, great terminal operators here, great vehicle processors here. With that transportation and logistics network, this is what's really driving a lot of the growth. But the foundation of that is the question, can you do it? And so all that capital investment, Eric was talking about that $1 billion investment, so we can answer the first question they ask, yes.
Are you finding that you're able to answer yes more?
Yeah, what's happening is, we can talk more about this, but certainly during the pandemic, we got asked a lot more, because Jacksonville has so much capability, and whereas other ports, particularly out-of-state ports, got overrun, we have that capability. And so we've been very pleased to take on those conversations.
All right. Jennifer, I want to ask, he mentioned support from trucking agencies, owner-operators in Jacksonville. How is that contributing to the area's business growth?
Sure. Well, if you see trucks on the road, then there's product moving, right? So knowing that those trucks are going, it shows that the economy is being stimulated and consumers are happy and we're getting what we need. But a lot of different things that Robert mentioned, whether it be that we're pulling from the port and moving to a warehouse, that we're moving from a warehouse to that final destination, that we're transferring it to another intermodal move over on the rail. Trucks are there to really kind of add one of those staple pieces to any of those intermodal moves, and we're lucky enough to have a great partnership with JAXPORT.
And I wanted to ask you something else very quickly. One of the trends in trucking is that more women are entering the industry, and I'm wondering about the shift and how it's making an impact.
Sure, I love this question. How much time do we have? Are you good? 2 minutes? Okay. Traditionally, it is a very male-dominated industry, trucking, right? So I come from a trucking family, and that's kind of how I got into it, and I love it. And I like to say, once you're into it, you're never out, and nobody else will have you anyway. So that's kind of how that goes. But we do see a huge shift to women in operational roles, to sales roles, leadership roles. In fact, some of our most successful and largest agents are women-led terminals. So I'm happy to see that. I feel like women are innately more compassionate, and we set our goals a little bit differently, and we measure our success differently, right? We're very interested in that home balance with our work life. So it's a strive to be professionally successful and to be successful at home and with your family. But I think that we're good at it. We can find a way. We're trending in a good manner. It's important to have that support system too, of other women and of other men, or men in general who are supportive of it as well. So yeah, I think we're moving in a good way.
All right, do we have time? One more? Oh, one more, please. Okay, Captain Snyder, talking about the bar pilots, how have they prepared? We're talking about these larger vessels that can call Jacksonville now, you know, that the harbor is deepened. How are you preparing to handle these larger ships?
When this became on the horizon for us, about 2 years ago, we cycled most of our pilots through the Maritime Pilot Institute in Covington, Louisiana. This particular facility, MPI, specializes in training pilots from around the world, and they use simulators and manned models. So it's kind of a unique situation. Simulators they kind of look like it's a mock bridge with an animated screen that you're maneuvering the ship kind of in real time. Then you have manned models, which is a 1 to 25 scale, where you have these, for us to have a 1,200-foot ship, you actually have a 48-foot little ship that you're in, and you're maneuvering around a lake. So it was a good chance to practice real-time scenarios where you're actually maneuvering, meeting, docking ships, and also transiting with assist tugs. And that was another very important thing with all the turns that we have and the currents that we have in the river, other things alongside of it, shorelines, and how we want to maintain safety without exceeding the speed. There's a lot of different things involved, but these training allowed us to do that. That coupled with the fact that we had discussions with other pilots in other ports that handle these 1,200-foot container ships with drafts in excess of 45 feet. That was an important part of the input. One of our own pilots rode one of the ships up to Savannah and just with his own eyes was able to watch and see and come back and discuss with us. So with all that information, it allowed us as the St. John's Bar pilots to basically conduct a nice, valuable, constructive discussion so that we could actually formulate safe and sensible guidelines and movement handling requirements that we have for these things, again, to maintain the safety that we're required by state law to exercise. So that's kind of our whole purpose in this thing, and our whole goal is to support the commerce of the state, support the commerce of JAXPort specifically, but mainly have safety in the port and safety on the river, because without that, then nothing else is safe.
All right. We are out of time. Darn it. I hope you all have enjoyed the insight. You know, it's very interesting. My husband works in the corporate security division of JM Family, which is the parent company of Southeast Toyota. And so I know this much. And to hear all of this insight is really so interesting. So I hope you found it interesting as well and listened to all of the exciting things that are in store for the port. So I want to thank each of our guests. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for coming here and being part of the panel. All right, it is time now to hand it back over to the Propeller Club for some closing remarks.
Thank you, Joy, for leading today's discussion, and big thanks to our panelists for sharing the insights on what's next and the growth of their companies. Also, I'd like to extend a special thank to JAXPort CEO Eric Green for his update on the port's growth and the plans in the future. You've heard it today several times: what's next, who, when, how. It's something that we discuss daily, but we need to act on it. The Propeller Club is working hard to service and meet the need in exposing students to the varied occupations and professional opportunities within the maritime and logistics industry. A great chance for all of us to actually make a huge impact in our future. I have personally seen it through my family. I'm a third generation and my kids the fourth. I want to see this to continue from generations to come. That's why we feel so passionate about developing our future leaders. This past year, we've saw 4 students come through and learn firsthand about the maritime and logistic world. We also raised about $15,000 in scholarships, proving that the Propeller Club is dedicated to supporting the future of our youth here in Jacksonville. Gandhi once said, "The future depends on what we do in the present." Who will be the next industry leader sitting in this room? Let's work together towards the common goal. I hope that you, just like I promised, to do something about it and work on it. At the Propeller Club, our why stems from servicing our members and communities where we live and work, which leads to our last item on today's program agenda. Thanks to the generosity of everybody in this room and our event sponsors, and each of you who purchased a ticket to attend in person and virtually, we have the opportunity to present not one, but two gifts today. At this time, I would like to call Tomas Liz, Vice President of Developing for Amports, and Julie Proctor and Stephanie O'Brien from AMI Kids to join me on stage. The club's community giving is rooted to supporting our youth, and it's twofold. First, through our partnership with AMI Kids Jacksonville, a nonprofit that empowers kids through care and guidance to reach their full potential, and as a result, break the cycle of failure and poverty. Second, we support scholarships for local transportation and logistics students. It is my pleasure on behalf of the Propeller Club's Board of Governors and members, as well as the members of Jacksonville Transportation and Logistics represented here today, to present AMI Kids Jacksonville with a check for $10,000 to support the important work that you do here in Jacksonville. If you guys haven't had the chance, I actually encourage you to do so. Go visit AMI Kids. Next, we would like to call Ms. Past President and Southeast Region President, Past President of Propeller Club, Liz Miller, to join me on stage with Dr. Jeremy Smith from Kaiser University campus. The Propeller Club is one of the rare clubs in the U.S. to support not one, but two student ports. We have a long-standing relationship with the University of Florida and their truck and logistics program to support those students with endowed scholarship funds. And today we take the next step in solidifying our relationship with Kaiser University Port and the students of the program, as we're excited to present Kaiser University with a $5,000 scholarship program TNL-focused student at your university. Thank you for your partnership, Dr. Smith. We look forward to many years of working together, building a future leader. Just a few final announcements before we close. I'd like to recognize the University of Florida and the Kaiser University student port members who actually are assisting us here today. These students represent our future in our industry, and the great work that they've been doing with the area university, the university is actually developing a strong workforce. Please stand when I call your names, please and thank you. Alexandria Kautz from University of South Florida Student Port President. Caitlin Spence, UNF Student Vice President. Chris Roeder, Kaiser Student Port President. Brianna Lay, Kaiser Student Port Vice President. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Those who know me know that I'm gonna keep on saying this every single day. They are our future. Let's make it happen for them. You've had the opportunity to make it here. You know what? We can make it for them. I'd also like to thank our club board member and officers for your unsung work to manage the club operations day to day. We all work volunteer, but we bring our passion for the industry and the organization, especially to all the important things that we've gone through in the past, few years. COVID, great. If you're serving on the Propeller Club board this year, please stand. Thank you for all you do. Last but not least, thank you to all the past presidents of the organization who have joined us today. Past president, please stand. I am proud to follow your footsteps. Thank you for your service to our industry and to the Propeller Club. We would like to invite you all to join us for our upcoming events. If you have your programs closer to the end, you're gonna have the dates. You will find them listed. Our next event is actually March 23rd, which is the U.S. Coast Guard NCBP Appreciation Dinner, followed by our annual Golf Spring Tournament fundraiser at Hidden Hills on April 10th. Hope to see you all there. As our event comes to a close, I would like to leave you with one more thing. The people in this room is what makes this club so remarkable. They are the magic that makes this club run and stand out in the community. People like Whitney Croxton, 40 Under 40, Marketing Director for Trailer Bridge, Tomas Liz, UNF Advisory Board, and Vice President of Development of Amport, past President and President of the Southeast Region Club of the Propeller Club, Liz Miller of Dale. They are just a few of the standout members of our club. Without members like this, we wouldn't be able to have such a great event like we have today. I know that Jacksonville Propeller Club has a bright future ahead of it. Thank you, guys. We have our Developing Future Leaders program, our fundraisers, and educational community events. The past 8 months have been an honor to be the president of the club. I feel even more connected to the Jacksonville community and the industry that I've pretty much grown in. That's the power that this club has, to elevate your connections and give you the opportunities to grow your talent pool. What's next? Hopefully all of you will be joining our efforts to promote the club, JAXPORT, and inspire our future leaders. So I encourage you, if you're not a member of the Propeller Club, join, renew your membership, and if you run a business here in Jacksonville, consider a corporate membership and give your employees the opportunity to build their network beyond their walls. Come be part of the organization, and let's do work together to promote the unique values of Jacksonville and what it offers to the shippers and transportation and logistics businesses. And be sure to connect with us, whether it's subscribing to our newsletters or following on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. Again, I want to thank you for joining us and wish you safe travels as we go our separate ways. I look forward to seeing you in the months ahead. And as one wise once said, may all of you have fair winds and following seas. Thank you.